This episode of the Sports Addict Live NHL Show brought to you by the one and only First Round Collectibles. From now until January the 4th, First Round Collectibles has thousands of sports cards on sale for up to 50% off. That's right, thousands. And with the code Sports Addict at checkout, you get an additional 10% off. If the card is 20%, you get it for 10, 30%, you get it for 40%, you get it for 50, you get it for 60% off from now until January the 4th with promo code Sports Addict. You get 10% off on all cards, even the ones on sale. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com and find your heroes. That's the number one, ST roundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Friday. It's the holidays. We made it. John, Andre, how you guys doing?
I like the song choice, Mark. That was very festive.
Very festive, I know, right?
I was really feeling that. I appreciated that.
It's a vibe. I've been getting John to freestyle for the last week. Hopefully by Christmas he'll.
Hey, now you changed it up on me, man. Too late now.
Gotta be quick on your feet, John.
You lost your chance.
Gotta be quick on your feet, bro. So I have a question, Andre, before we dive in. I had this weird dream last night, and I can't tell if it was real or if it was a dream. I feel like it was real. You were on the couch in like a tuxedo with your feet up on the coffee table, smoking a big old cigar, while John and I's teams got destroyed 15-6 combined. Was that a dream or was that real? Like, do you smoke cigars? I don't know what you get up to on a Thursday night, but I feel like that was real life.
Can't say there were many cigars in my life, but I do seem to recall both of you guys in shambles at various points during the night while I was just chilling, enjoying some good old hockey.
What a night to have off.
That's what I mean. Your boys weren't playing and you're just like, haha.
You did the Burnings building for you two, and I'm just like, this sports tonight, cool.
Oh man, what a night, man. John, how you doing, man, on this Friday? You ready for the holidays or what?
Yeah, when it comes to the Devils, I'm like a glass half full, glass half empty guy. I mean, this homestand is going terribly. But on the glass half full side, tomorrow I'm going to my first in-person game ever. I forgot to mention that. With the
really
not ever this season. I mean, this season for the Devils.
Gotcha.
Yeah, first Devils game of the year. I'm going in person, so I'm really hoping they snap this home game losing skid tomorrow.
Who are they playing tomorrow?
The Red Wings.
Oh, that'll be a good
game. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It should be an interesting track meet.
Yeah, both you guys can't stop the puck, so it should be entertaining.
Very nervous at the same time because, like, the Devils have been on a homestand all week and they've lost every game.
Well, we're actually talking about Detroit first, but we'll get to there in a second. Andre, what's your takeaway from last night, bro? 1,000 games to choose from.
Yeah, plenty of games to choose from. A lot of interesting things, but I'm going to tie my takeaway into my bad beat. I'm going to start off with the winning team from this game, and that is the Washington Capitals finding a way to win again. The deck was stacked against them in OT, and then it suddenly wasn't. And then suddenly, OT game winner, snapped the goalless streak, got the boys back in the win column, 2 more points. They keep doing it. They're still in a playoff spot. I don't understand how this isn't a good team. They escaped against the freaking Blue Jackets on a Thursday night, but 2 points is 2 points. So Capitals, we keep saying they're going to go away, but they're not going away.
They're not. Yeah. Speaking of which, in that game, dude, did you guys see the Tom Wilson shenanigans at the end of that game?
Big part of the bad beat from that game,
dude. So I'm hearing people talk about how oh man, my mind's blanking. Goaltender's name for Columbus.
Elvis Merzlikins.
Yeah. So people are giving him a hard time, he shouldn't have done that. He cost his team the game, blah blah blah. I don't know if you guys like where you guys stand. For me, Columbus, them losing in overtime on a Thursday night is not going to make or break their season. They're not making it to the playoffs. Tom Wilson did this on Wednesday night. He went into a goalie and took him out at the legs. He literally does this. Last night, people are saying, well, he was kind of guided in, directed in. It wasn't his fault. Yeah, maybe. But for a guy like Tom Wilson, you got to know, if you're taking out a goalie, you're getting a blocker right to the melon. That's happening. I don't know. Do you guys agree, or are you on more Tommy Boy's side with this one?
I think with my fandom, you don't need to hear me talk about Tom Wilson. I think it speaks for itself. We've had plenty of experience.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. John, what's your takeaway from last night, bro?
All right, my takeaway is going to be a team that we've kind of had fun dissing of late, the Ottawa Senators. I said yesterday on the show that they weren't worth my time, and I was trying to keep it short and sweet. And I swear, through the first two periods, I really thought I was going to eat those words because Ottawa was winning that game. I thought they had a shot at winning outright, but what does Ottawa do? They find ways to lose. Terrible third period for the Senators. They gave up 3 goals to the Avalanche. They not only lost the game, but Colorado still ended up covering the puck line after all that. So I'm not going to say I'm shocked at all, but I think it just confirms every issue we've talked about with the Ottawa Senators on this show. And I'll add one more thing to that. That's not even the first game that it happened. This has happened back-to-back games now for the Senators, giving up 3 goals in the third period. I swear Ottawa just can't find ways to finish games. Mark's been on this early. He said the first time this happened, even after Ottawa went up 3-0 against Arizona, that Arizona was going to win outright. Sure enough, Arizona scored 3 goals in the game the other night, and now this happened for the second game in a row. Ottawa had a lead and then gives up 3 goals in the third period. They're kind of quickly becoming contenders for the worst team in the Eastern Conference. I didn't want to believe it, but it's starting to be a discussion, in my opinion.
Well, giving up 3 goal leads or 3 goals in the third period, that might be 2 games in a row, but blowing 2 goal or more leads is 3 games straight. And they've done it, I think, 4 out of the last 5 games. This is happening every night. It's crazy.
And Mark, you deserve props. You deserve a lot of props. Because yesterday you said verbatim, I really like Colorado come from behind win in the bet slip.
Yes, I'm so mad I didn't actually put money on that because I completely we talk for an hour and a half, and by the end of the show, I forget half of what I say, and I go through and make my bets for the night. But
especially yesterday, we had too many picks to keep track of.
Yeah.
No, and what was funny about that game, John, is that it was 4-3, and then McKinnon scores 4-4 to tie it up, and they challenged the offside, and they got the challenge wrong. So not only do they tie it, now they're on the penalty kill, and they instantly go down 5-4. And I feel like Jacques Martin, he's 71 years old. like hasn't been on a bench in forever. And I feel like when they got the penalty, he was just like, wait, what? What's this rule? I thought I could just challenge whatever I wanted. Now I'm on the, because I thought that was I get it, challenge it, but if you lose that challenge, which they did, like you're giving Colorado a power play and they have all the momentum. I don't know. I'm with you. And it's even to kind of segue that into my takeaway is I think the Western Conference is winning the Stanley Cup. And I don't know who in the East, maybe Boston, maybe the Rangers, but like Colorado, like when that team's firing, their only real issue is like depth on the third and fourth lines. But when that team's rolling, like they are just incredible. I know Vegas lost last night, but when Vegas is playing 100%, that Vancouver Dallas game was incredible. Just like two juggernauts going back and forth, shot for shot, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Can anyone? We're talking 7-game series, right? Can anybody take the Western Conference out when it comes to the Stanley Cup Finals? I'll pose that question to the class.
This is a good question, honestly. Like, I think it's a little early for me to say who's in and who's out right now because we have more than half the season left. Last year, after last season with Florida making a run as an 8th seed, I'm very hesitant to rule any team out just by making the playoffs because I think in hockey there's a better chance of a lower seed making an upset than most sports. So I've been of the belief, at least when it comes to the Devils, just make the playoffs and then go from there. I don't know if I could say definitively that a Western Conference team is 100% winning. What I will say is I think like right now, today, December 22nd, like I'd probably go as far as to say the top 3 teams, let's just say, maybe 4, are from the Western Conference, and definitely 4 of the top 6.
What do you think, Andre? Do you agree?
Well, as someone who supports the team with the best point percentage in the league, I obviously have to disagree. But if you're looking at the Eastern Conference, I think there's only 3 real contenders to, if they win the East, to then win the Cup. I think the Rangers and the Bruins are the 2 teams that really don't have flaws per se.
I agree.
In the East, and then if Tampa figures out the defensive goaltending situation, we've seen Andrei Vasilevsky there before. The offense can fire. Like if they click, if they figure out the defensive part of things, the offense is fine. They have the goaltender. They could make another run. They've won 2 championships recently. Right now, they're obviously in a terrible spot, so you wouldn't say that, but still half a season left for Tampa to figure things out. They have a steep climb, but if they get in, I wouldn't want to face them. That's all I'm saying. But you're right about the West, though. I think Vancouver, Vegas, Colorado, even LA.
I'm starting to think Winnipeg might be a top 5 team in the league.
Yeah, there's like the West has. We like to joke about how top heavy the West is, but they have some phenomenal teams that I think only the Rangers and Bruins stack up to right now.
Yeah, in terms of the regular season, I'd agree. You bring up a good point about Tampa. I do think there's some teams in the East capable of like a low seed upset. But I mean, if we're talking about juggernauts, powerhouses, the Rangers and the Bruins seem like the only teams close to these top tier West teams.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And don't forget Buffalo. They're coming now. They gave us 9 the other night. They scored 9 last night. Now everything's even, and they're on their way. What an insane game that was. So just for curiosity's sake, I looked up the odds. So on FanDuel, for the Eastern Conference to win the Stanley Cup is -115. And for the Western Conference to win the Stanley Cup is minus 105. So the East is actually the favorites to win the Stanley Cup.
I wonder
problem-
if they think the West is going to eat each other before the final, and maybe they think like the Rangers or the Bruins will have an easier path.
Right.
You think that could be it?
The top two, or there's 3 teams tied for favorites. I was looking at futures earlier today because I bet on Artemi Panarin to win the Hart. So I just coincidentally know this. The Rangers, Bruins, and Avalanche are all tied for the best odds to win it all. So that's probably a big part of it.
Just while I'm down this rabbit hole, so for the Metro to win, plus 230, for the Atlantic to win, plus 270, for the Central to win, also plus 270, and for the Pacific to win, plus 280. And I like the plus 280 for the Pacific. Like, I really like that bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that the next bet that I'm gonna say is only available in Canada. I'm gonna assume, maybe not. Who knows? Oh, where did it just go?
Is it like a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, it is. Shoot, I just lost it.
I think they have. I think it's
is.
only a preseason thing in America. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, no. So for a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, it is plus 330, which I think it should be way higher. Like, I think it should be like plus 6 or 7. Like, let's be real about it. And for any team in the United States of America, it's minus 480. So, which I don't know. I don't know. The only real teams that I can see winning the Stanley Cup is Vancouver and maybe Winnipeg. And that I'm still not, like, I love both those teams, but I'm still a couple months away from like actually laying down that bet. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Just about the Eastern Conference being favorites too. I think the Bruins and the Rangers are top 2 in President's Trophy odds also. So like Vegas is very high on those 2. And I think the rest of the East just kind of suffers because of it if you're like betting the odds for the entire conference.
Plus 1,100 for the Rangers to win the Cup.
What is that on?
FanDuel.
Yeah, DK has plus 750 for Rangers, Avalanche, and Bruins. Which is awful odds. I don't like that.
Well, if you want FanDuel and get those odds, you let me know and take my code so we can make some money. All right. But we'll do that off air. John, what's your bad beat from last night, bro?
This one's gonna be a 2-for-1.
I know you've been crushing it this week. Did you finally lose and make the rest of us feel better, or what?
I called it yesterday. After a pretty good Wednesday, I was gonna crash hard the next day, and boy, did I! I don't know the exact record of my picks yesterday, but I know it was pretty bad. So I had a lot to choose from. But this one is a special 2-for-1 bad beat for me. I'm gonna go to Montreal and Minnesota. Yesterday, I was thinking because of Minnesota's schedule that they'd be exhausted with all the travel and 3 games in 4 days. Man, that comes back to bite me sometimes. Because I picked Montreal to win that game outright, and I picked the under in that game. And that was looking Minnesota got off to a better start than I expected. So by the third period, I felt like I was going to concede the Montreal win to try to at least salvage the under. Well, Minnesota was up 3-2 in the third period, and Montreal ended up tying the damn game. So I'm like, all right, there goes the under. So after Montreal tied the game, I'm like, can you at least win the game now that the under's gone? Well, no, they don't do that. Minnesota still ends up winning the game. So Montreal kind of did a 2-for-1 on me last night.
What was your bad beat, Andre? I know, like you just mentioned from the Capitals game, right?
Yeah, sticking with it. I know I picked the Capitals to win, but obviously I was watching the game, rooting for the Jackets because why not? They're a bad team, and so you get into overtime, and the Capitals, get the little rush. Merzlikins with the save. Puck comes out. They have an odd man rush going the other way. It's about to be 3-on-2 because the defenseman skating back. They have the 2-on-2 entering the zone. And then suddenly play stops because, like you mentioned, Tom Wilson's in the net on Merzlikins' stick. Merzlikins is wailing on him. And it goes from Columbus about to have 3-on-2 in the offensive zone to on the PK. Ovi scores a little bit later. Jackets lose at home. It's just a brutal turn of events. You're about to have all the opportunity in the world for a tic-tac-toe pass, score, win, 2 points, and then suddenly everyone's looking at your goalie like he's an idiot. So there you have it.
I was watching that overtime, and maybe this has been happening like his whole career, and I'm just noticing it now because he's not really scoring. But like watching that overtime, did you notice, like, if you forget this and people like watching or listening, like go back and watch that highlight of that goal. I swear to you, he does not move. Like Obi does not move for like 15 seconds. I swear. He's just standing there and where he always does, and he's just like, whenever he thinks the puck's coming to him, he just and then puts his stick back down, and then he thinks, oh, and then puts it like I couldn't believe I couldn't believe it. I can. I found it was so funny, man. The guy's he's just parked at the circle, just waiting.
You're so spot on. It's like hilarious.
It's so funny, man. He's like how, and then when he finally scored, it was like he hasn't scored before. Like he's just freaking out losing this now. Like good for him. Like to see record broken. Like we all love Wayne Gretzky, but that'd be cool. Like to see the record broken. But and now everyone's like, he's gonna score 25 goals in the next 30 games, and it's like I don't know if I buy that, but it's a cool moment nevertheless.
Yeah.
So my bad beat, and I'm just looking forward here because I want to say exactly what my bad beat was. So I had a couple nice parlays that I really liked last night that I was working on. One was a shot parlay. All right. So William Nylander to get 4+ shots on goal. This whole parlay, by the way, was plus 830. Nylander to get 4 shots on goal. That hit. Clayton Keller, which I always pump this guy's shot totals. I always love it. For him to get 3+ shots was and then that hit. And Sidney Crosby, my buddy texted me last night. He's like, what's your favorite bet for tonight? I was like, honestly, I really like Crosby 4+ shots. Like that almost always hits. And he had 1 shot on goal with like 10 minutes left in the game, and it went to overtime, and he hit the 4+ shots. The one that did not hit to make this a bad beat was Austin Matthews. For him to get 4 shots on goal, he got 1 shot. Austin Matthews. I couldn't believe it, man. He got like 6 the night before. He gets like 3, 4, 5 shots every night, and I couldn't believe it. And the other one, where was it here? The other one that, here. So for plus 32, plus 3,232. For the Coyotes, minus 1.5. For Clayton Keller to score, for Lawson Krause to score, both those hit. For Lawson Krause to get 3+ shots on goal, he got 2. And for Clayton Keller to get 4 shots on goal, he got 3. And was like this close to those 2 parlays happening. And it's the shot totals. Maybe I need to take a break from shot totals. Maybe I need like shot total, like anonymous or something. I need to like take a break or something like that. But all right, going through the best bets we went through last night. Let's move on to our last round of picking games before the holidays. A little preview for John for a team he's seeing tomorrow night. Philadelphia is in Detroit. Detroit is minus 130 favorites, which is a tad surprising to me. Philadelphia plus 110. The puck line for Detroit minus 1.5 is plus 180. Plus 1.5 for Philadelphia is minus 218. The over-under is 6. Minus 118 is the over. Minus 102 is the under. Andre, start us off, bro. What you see in this game?
Yeah, Vegas is really testing me early, putting the better team as the underdog on the road. But, you look at the schedule and they played last night at home and lost, had to fly to Detroit. You think that would be tough, but you know who's tougher? John Tortorella and his team of misfits that are winning, that are 10-4-2 on the road, plus 12 goal differential. It's so hard to score on the Flyers on the road. The power play doesn't exist, and it doesn't even matter because they still score more goals per game on the road too. I know they played yesterday, but they're the better team. They're the team that's not in a free fall. They're better on the road. The Red Wings are just not good at keeping pucks out the net. I know they can score, but the Flyers can keep them out of the net. I like the Flyers plus 110 here. I really do. I like the under.
Ooh, under as well. John, what do you got?
I think emotionally, I want Detroit to win this game and wear themselves out by the time they play the Devils tomorrow. So I can't say I'm not a little biased here. In terms of an actual bet lean, I'm interested in like the potential power play matchup here because Detroit has a much better power play than Philadelphia, near 22%, but Philadelphia has a great penalty kill. So I'm very curious to see which one wins out in that clash there. Detroit, this is really tough in my opinion because like Detroit is the better scoring team for sure, but Philadelphia, man, they don't give up a lot of goals. Like they're top 6 team in goals allowed, and Detroit's a top 6 team in goals scored. So this to me feels like a matchup of something has to give whenever I compare these two teams. I think just because I want this to happen and I don't have a strong lean, I'm gonna lean towards Detroit. But I'm not extremely confident saying that. I just think Detroit has a little more firepower, and Philadelphia's playing it back-to-back. Also, I kind of want Detroit to win. So I think all those factors lead me towards Detroit slightly, very slightly.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree with Andre. I think the back-to-back part of it, the fact that they were at home, I know that they're still traveling. I think they were at home last night, right? Yeah, they were.
They were in Philly.
I know that they're still traveling, but I do think that matters. That at least they were home and they're not like traveling.
Right.
I was thinking about this and I was kind of leaning Detroit because of the back-to-back, but then I just kind of simplified it and like in the last 9 games, Philly is 7-2. And Detroit last 8 games 1-7, and I just think that Philly's playing better hockey right now. I think like Detroit, they are a good goal scoring team, but that scoring hasn't been overly consistent over the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and their goaltending situation's a mess. Like let's just call it what it is. Like with Lyon out and freaking Husso out, which my fantasy team is a little bit reeling because of that. But I mean, God bless James Reimer and Michael Hutchison, but I think that matters. And I don't know, kind of simplify it that way. And I think which is also why I'm a little bit surprised that Philly is dogs as big as they are. I know plus 110 is not, crazy, but I'm a little bit surprised just with the current situation of Detroit. And I like the under. The last time these two teams played, Philly won 1-0, which I think was like last weekend, if I remember correctly. a couple quick props that I noticed. Tippett plus 146 for 4+ shots on FanDuel. He has 21 shots in the last 5 games. So I really like that prop. Also, Sanheim has 18 assists. He leads the team plus 160. Tippett has 11 goals on the year plus 215 for him to score tonight. Kane has 4 assists since he joined Detroit, plus 140 for him to get one. And Gostisbehere, 18 assists, leads the Detroit Red Wings, plus 195 for him to get a helper tonight. Also, DeBrincat and Larkin. I always like those two to score. DeBrincat is 165 and Larkin is plus 170. All right. Heading to Madison Square Garden, which is number 1 on my bucket list. I don't know, top 3 for sure. Edmonton Oilers continuing, what's it called? The McDavid Magical Vacation or something?
Yeah.
I give up remembering the name of this at this point.
McDavid's Magical Newark Vacation heading to Manhattan. Rangers minus 130 at home. Edmonton plus 110. Puck line for the Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 180. Plus 1.5 puck line for the Oilers is minus 218. The over is 6.5. Minus 130 for the over. Plus 110 for the under. Andre, start us off, man. What do you see here?
I'm not going to lie. I saw this line this morning, and I thought I was taking crazy pills because I understand they've been in the area all week. I understand that Prudential Center is 10 miles away from the Garden, so they probably stayed in the same hotel, but it's still a back-to-back for Edmonton. They're still not the better team in this game. They're on the road. The Rangers are 10-3-0 at home. The goaltending disparity is massive. The Oilers are 5-9-0 on the road. I just don't understand why this line is so tight. Like, Rangers winning by any margin at minus 130 is such a steal to me, like, honestly. And I say that, I don't think I say that with bias. I just think.
No, I think you're right.
They're getting a better team in a better scheduling situation at great odds. So maybe Vegas knows something I don't. They typically do. McDavid loves bringing out his best against us. I feel like half his all-time highlight reel is against the team not even in his conference, but Rangers minus 130. I don't even need to touch the puck line. I'm very satisfied with minus 130, and I'm going to take the over because the Oilers can score. Even though we have good goaltending, good defense, the Oilers can score. The Rangers also can score, especially both power plays are phenomenal. I think they're the Oilers are 4th. I was going to say the Rangers are 1st now in power play. So give me the Rangers, give me the over. I already bet both of those things, by the way. So.
Of course you did.
Yeah. I saw I think it was minus 125 the first time I saw it, and I was like, there's no way we're getting a team on the second half.
Oh, you got to jump on it.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course you already bet on it, as you should. I would have too, 100%. Also, I forgot to tell you guys this yesterday. I was going to tell you guys that my best bet of the night was Sabres minus 5.5, and I completely forgot to. That just came back to my memory. So my fault. We all could have been rich. John, what do you see in this Rangers game, man? I don't know why out there. We're not even talking about Toronto. Oh, I'm just still can't believe what I watched last night. Well, sorry, John. What do you see here, bro?
I just watched this Oilers team up close last night, and I have to say their upside is impressive because I swear they scored 3 goals in 3 minutes on the Devils last night. And I know the Devils are not the best goaltending team, but I thought that was impressive nonetheless. So I do recognize the potential firepower in this game. With that said, I do think the Rangers can somewhat match them in that department. I was surprised earlier this week to find out they were tied for 1st in power play this year now with the Devils. I think it was a combination of the Devils falling back down a little bit and the Rangers moving up. Yeah, the Rangers are pretty good in that. Edmonton's not far behind in the power play. Rangers have a great penalty kill, about 85% there. What Andre said, though, is really the difference maker, in my opinion, the goaltending matchup. I mean, the Rangers are 8th in goals allowed per game, where Edmonton's in the bottom 8 in the league. Not to mention they're coming off a back-to-back. And not to knock on my own team here, but we're not exactly known for stopping pucks from going in the net. So with all that said, I do not expect Edmonton to put up another 6 tonight, especially on a back-to-back. I know it's like 2 train stops away from the Garden, but I do believe back-to-backs are something to keep an eye on anyway. I don't think I have a choice but to lean the Rangers here. I don't really want to touch the over-under in this one. I think originally I was leaning under, but I've gotten burned on the Rangers on Tuesday, and I know the Oilers do have an upside with that. So I think I'm staying away from that and just gonna keep it simple. I think the Rangers win.
Yeah, I think this is Rangers all day. I really like the over too. The only thing that concerns me about the over is that it's not the Rangers that concern me with the over. It's the Oilers. Like, I still don't trust this team. Like, they can score 4, 5, 6 goals. Sure they can, but like we talked about this the other day, like yesterday, like their 2-game losing streak, they scored 2 goals in those games. Like, I still don't really know. Like, I don't get it with this team, and I don't love it. But I think it's the Rangers all day. What I'm looking at here, and it's another reason why the over is actually a pretty fun play. Like, despite what I just said, is like you said, Andre, first power play unit in the league. The Oilers 21st penalty kill. So you have Trocheck 11 power play points plus 210. You have Fox 16 power play points plus 120. And you have Zibanejad 15 power play points at plus 170. Like, give me that all day. I think the special teams will be the big factor here. And 6-3 last night for the Oilers. Only 3 goals against. I don't think that they can hold up like that 2 nights in a row. And I'm with both you guys. I just think this is a no-brainer. And as far as like different props go, it kind of surprises me. Zibanejad has 17 assists. He's plus 114. And on the Oilers side, I just still don't trust it. And I can't really get behind props right now for them because I just don't trust it. But I'm with you guys. I think I'm over, but I'm definitely confident on Rangers minus 130. All right. If you say that this game we just talked about is the game of the night, I can get behind it. But I can also make an argument for this game being a game of the night. Jets are home in Winnipeg to Boston. Minus 108 now, the Jets are, and minus 112, the Bruins are. Puck line, plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 for the Jets is minus 270. Minus 1.5 for the Bruins is plus 220. Over 5.5. Oh, that must have changed. Yeah, the over's 5.5. Minus 115 for the over. Minus 105 for the under. John, start us off here, brother. What do you see in this game?
Well, the over/under is certainly intriguing. 5.5. Wow, I'm a little surprised on that one. I say a little bit because I know what these two teams are capable of offensively, but at the same time, both of these teams are great when it comes to goals allowed. I think combined they allowed just over 5 goals because Boston's at 2.57 and Winnipeg is literally right behind them at Winnipeg's right behind them at 2.58, so they're basically dead even there. Boston has a much better penalty kill than Winnipeg, so that I would be a little concerned about. But I do think Winnipeg has a little more firepower. I think Boston's relying a little bit on Pasternak, whereas I think Winnipeg right now, at the moment, may be a little more balanced. Something that intrigued me about Winnipeg was that they have two players tied for third in the entire NHL in plus minus differential. They have two guys at plus 19 right now. So besides Vancouver, who's ridiculous in that category, that's better than any other team. The only other team that have multiple guys near the top of the list. So I think with all that said, I like having a talented team like Winnipeg be a slight underdog in this spot, especially at home. So despite the penalty kill numbers, I'm leaning that way. I like Winnipeg here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like 93.7%. I'm like right there with you. To me, it's the same as when we were talking about Pittsburgh and Detroit. To me, it's just recently, right? Like what these teams have looked like recently. The Jets in their last 9 games are 7-2. The 3 games before that, they lost 3 in a row. But then the previous 9 before that, they were 8-1. Like this team's been rolling for a while now. And then you have Boston recently, 2-4 in their last 6. Before that, they won 3 in a row. But then the previous 5 to that, 1-4. Like Boston's been kind of not consistent lately when it comes to W's. And I know they're a really good team still. But I just think the Jets have been playing better. I do like the special teams factor for Boston. If we're talking power play points, Marchand has 14 plus 175 for him. And Pasternak has I can't remember how many power play points he has, but he has 1,000 and he's plus 100. So I don't mind that as well. But yeah, I personally think that the Jets will win this game. I think they've been playing really well. And it's another really cool test to see as well, because I think we know Boston, we just talked about it, right? Boston, we all know they're going to be contending for the cup one way or another, whether it's deep run in the playoffs or actually in the Stanley Cup final. But the Jets still have a little bit of you got to show me, right? There's still this little bit they need to kind of prove to us that they deserve to be in this conversation. The last thing I'll say, Scheifele, Ehlers, Velarde, they've been really stepping up the last game or the last chunk of games since Connor's been down. So go look at their goal props 100%. But Hellebuck, so his over for saves tonight is 26.5 saves minus 105. Boston averages 32.3 shots per game. So if you think that it's going to be the under, which I do, then that's a really good prop. Over 26.5 saves minus 105. Andre, what say you, bro?
It seems like a poor tenet of mine is not picking the Bruins to lose after they just lost. So I think I'm picking the win after every loss. And I'm going to keep doing it. Minus 115 is great odds for a great team. We're talking about them struggling with losses in 3 of the last 4. But we're talking about was it a shootout loss in Jersey? Or it was just an overtime loss, and then a shootout loss against the Islanders. an overtime loss or overtime win against the Islanders. I don't remember what I just said. A overtime loss against the Rangers and then an overtime loss against the Wild. This is a team that is struggling and still picking up points every night. So
Right. Yeah,
fair. The
fair.
Swaymark duo is elite. You can put Linus Ullmark in. You can put Jeremy Swayman in. They have the nastiest PK in the league. It's impossible to score on this team when they're playing right. The Jets are a good team. I think the Bruins are better. I love the minus 115. I'm a little tempted to take the 60-minute draw again, just because the Bruins had 4 games in a row go to OT at least. And Vegas is expecting a low-scoring game. Winnipeg's also top 5 in goal prevention. So I'm very tempted to take the 60-minute draw. But when I think when that 60-minute plus tax time is over, the Bruins are going to end up on top. They buy that extra 5 minutes. They buy a shootout. They're talented enough. Like, they're not going to keep losing these games. It's a very good team.
What's the odds for the draw? Do you have it there?
I do. It's plus 340.
True.
I'm starting to get tempted by an under. I don't know what you guys think about that one. Is Vegas trying to bait us there?
So I looked up the recent matchups. The Bruins have won 6 in a row against the Jets. And of those 6, the 4 of the past 5 finished with fewer than 6 goals. So there was a 4-2 game in the mix. The first game in the Bruins head-to-head winning streak was 5-4. And then the rest of them were 3 total goals or 5 total goals. So they're generally low scoring. Sorry.
Yeah, like both these teams are defensively sound, and I can see like they're not super run and gun teams, right? I can see the under hitting for sure. 5.5 freaks me out no matter who it is.
But yeah, I haven't had good luck with unders this week, so I'm a little nervous. But I could definitely see like a 3-2 game.
Well, this is the thing, John. You picked an under. Was it Leafs and Rangers, right?
Yeah, but even last night with the Canadians and the Wild, I got burned on that one.
Yeah, but Canadians Wild, that's like that can go either way, right? Leafs and Rangers, like that was over before it even started. Like literally over before.
That was close, to be fair. Are you
saying
playing with
fire with that one?
Place?
Yeah, that's the right terminology, Andre. You were playing with fire. This game,
okay, you're not lying. You're not lying.
I can see this under. This is a 100% realistic under, like for sure. All right, moving on. I'm a little bit bothered that this is like the last game of the night. I wish it was like nothing against these teams. This game will probably be a good game, but I wish
original 6.
Yeah, like
but we're going out for 5 days after this.
I just wish that like Jets was like 9:00 and this game was like 8. But this game's 8:30 and the Jets are 8. And that's the other thing. I have a young child, okay? It's different for people, whatever. But I put my kid down. I want to put my feet up at 10:30 and watch a hockey game. All these games are going to be over by 11. You know what I mean?
No late night stuff tonight.
I want peace and quiet at 10:30, and I can watch a full game without like children toys talking, and you know what I mean? But hey, Christmas is 2 days away. It's not tonight. All right. Montreal is in Chicago. Chicago is minus 115 favorites. Montreal is minus 105. The puck line in Chicago's favor is plus 215. Plus 1.5 puck line for Montreal is minus 265. The over is 6. Minus 115 for the over. The under is minus 105. Andre, tell us right now, what's the odds for Chicago to score first? I know you have it.
I was just looking it up. You gotta give me time.
Just get that right out of the way.
Oh, it's minus 120 to score first. Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
they're on to you, bro. They're on to you,
brutal.
man. They're on to you.
That
That's
just ruined my
hilarious.
day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, now you gotta parlay it. No one likes that. No one wants to parlay a Chicago first goal scored. No one wants that. So once again, I know Montreal played last night. But Montreal should be favored in this spot, in my opinion. I think Montreal, or I can understand it being the way it is, but like let's just face facts. Like Montreal has been playing very, very well. I really like this team, win or lose, which they do lose a little more than they win. But this team works really hard, and they're only a couple points out of a playoff spot, like we all thought. And maybe it's like just the first third of the season. You never know. But I didn't expect them to be 2 points out of a playoff spot, like right around Christmas. No way. I think Montreal wins this game, plain and simple. I think the under is a good play here. It's a weird one to pick the over that I don't fully love. Like Montreal, 27th goals per game, 22nd goals allowed. The Blackhawks, 31st goals per game, 29th goals allowed. Like both teams can't score and both teams let goals in. So who knows? Who knows what the over? Yeah, like who knows what the over under is? Both of these teams, their special teams, are in the bottom, like 10% of the league. Like there's no other play when it comes to the result that I like other than Montreal to win. I would have to look it up. I would also dabble with Montreal. Yeah, Montreal minus 1.5 is plus 235. And I would kind of dabble with that. Once again, know that they played last night, but their goaltending's been pretty good this year, despite being 22nd in goals allowed. And I like Montreal winning pretty big tonight. On the prop side of things, I mean, Caulfield, 8 goals plus 125. Like Bedard, for him to score tonight, he has 12 goals on the year plus 140. Also, Bedard has 100 shots on net this year. Over 3.5 is plus 114. I like that. A long shot prop bet that I really like, Josh Anderson. Probably not a big conversation down in the States, but here that's been a huge conversation. Like, when's this guy gonna score? He only has 4 goals on the year, but 3 of those have been in the last 5 games, plus 275. So he's starting to heat up. So I don't mind that. John, we'll go to you, bro. What do you see in this game?
This just feels like a very ugly way to wrap up Christmas break. Like, what a terrible game. In all honesty, I'm not looking forward to diving into this one. Like, both of these teams are bad. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, they're
But you don't like me pumping up Montreal? You can't get on board with it?
It's not that I'm not on board with it. It's like I just don't think either of these teams are that good. It's like Montreal, both of these teams are under 20% on the power play. They're both under, and Chicago's particularly bad on it. Both of them are under 75% on the penalty kill this year. And Montreal and Chicago's second worst in the league in goals per game. Montreal's not much better, being like the 6th worst team there. Montreal's goaltending is a little better at 23rd, where Chicago, I think, is in the bottom 4. But Montreal just played last night and burned me pretty badly last night at that. So I think I'm a little bit on tilt when it comes to Montreal. I don't know if I want to pick against them for that reason, but I'm not. I don't want to stay away on the last game before Christmas break, so I will think of something here.
You got to.
Screw it. Give me Chicago and Connor Bedard. Like I don't really like what I'm seeing from either one of these teams right now, but I think I trust Bedard more than any player on these teams combined.
Yo, you better not show your face in Montreal over the Christmas break. You better stay where you are.
Have to stay on my side of the border.
That's right. Andre, you agree with this goof? You agree with this?
I'm so conflicted, and I think I agree with you, Mark, in principle that Montreal should win this game. Is the better team. They play better on the road. They're one of those, those squads. Even if they played last night. But the Blackhawks just beat the Avalanche. They're at home.
I knew it.
Break.
I knew it.
I think I'm feeling a happy United Center going into Christmas. I don't know why.
You were buttering me up saying you agree with me, and I knew it. I absolutely knew
Boil
it.
the frog, man. Boil the frog.
They're both bad teams. Montreal is the better team. I'll give them that. Montreal is competitive. They're scrappy. I don't dislike Montreal at all. But second half of a back-to-back, they're on the road. They're against a young team that just beat a championship contender. That has to feel really good. I'm going to take the Blackhawks here to keep it going. And if you want to know why it took me so long to find the Chicago first goal scorer for this game, it's because I was looking for Connor Bedard, specifically first goal scorer. DK doesn't have him listed. They have him listed for a goal scorer.
Yeah.
Which
really
I like him picking up an assist more. But they don't have him for first or last goal scorer specifically. They have everybody else. It starts with Cole Caulfield. It's the best odds. So I guess they're scared of getting burnt. They know what's going to happen.
Well, listen, man. I told you, Andre, your degenerate friend Mark has every single sports book, and if you want like code, we both get like bonus cash. You just let me know, and I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up before Christmas.
I need the card.
All right, let's best bets, boys. We'll keep going with you, Andre. What are you feeling? Best bet.
I'm gonna have to. I don't want to pick the Rangers just because that feels cheap as a fan. So
you feel it, bro.
No, I'm going to go with Connor Bedard to pick up an assist. So over 0.5 assists is plus 120 right now. Beginning of the year, he was a goal scorer. October, 4 goals, 2 assists. November, 6 goals, 6 assists. Flip to December, 2 goals, 8 assists. He had 2 goals on Tuesday. He had 2 assists on Tuesday. He had 2 assists on Sunday. He has 8 assists for the month. He's picked one up in half of Chicago's games this month. Against the Montreal team that we said should be tired, won't have goalie 1A in net. Give me Connor Bedard to pick up another assist. So sticking with first overall pick plus 120.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good find. Absolutely. John, what about you, man?
I think this is the first time in a while I've done this, if ever. But I don't remember the last time I did this. But I'm going with an underdog as my best bets. I like the Winnipeg Jets tonight. I think they're the only team I really feel comfortable with out of the ones I picked. Because Chicago and Detroit are like a 51-49 type of lean, where I didn't really feel great about either side. And the Rangers I do like, but I think Edmonton has some upside to like potentially spoil there. It was definitely between the Rangers and the Jets, but I feel good about this Jets team. I don't know what it is. I like the fact that they're a small underdog with the talent they have. They have the goaltending, which surprised me, to be honest, to keep up with Boston. But the fact that they nearly matched them in goals allowed per game really surprised me in a positive way. I think the Jets are playing well right now. I could definitely see them pulling off. I don't even want to call this an upset, but like a nice win for them, I'll say. I could definitely see the Jets getting a nice home win tonight.
It would be a statement win for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, maybe not upset, but like we talked about before, like Boston, everyone's conceding Boston's going to be there at the end of the year, and like teams like the
Yeah.
Jets.
The Jets are good, so I don't want to say upset. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Statement. I like that word. I like that.
Vegas is kind of agreeing with you, John. The line flipped recently to -108, -112. So Winnipeg's getting a little bit closer to just being even money.
Wow. It's a tight game tonight then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. And for all of you people who have Sirius XM, the Jets broadcast on CJOB in Winnipeg. I think 640 CJOB in Winnipeg. Phenomenal broadcast. Those guys do a great job. Well, John, you stole my best bet on Christmas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mark.
Hurts me. But that's okay. I didn't have to look too hard. I rolled my eyes at first, and then I looked at my paper, and I realized it's pretty easy. I don't agree. I know Philadelphia played last night, but I don't agree with these odds. And I think Philadelphia is a winner here. Plus 110. Like I said, I know they played last night. But Detroit has done nothing but shoot themselves in the feet for the last like 2+ weeks. And I like Philadelphia here. This team works hard, win or lose. And defensively speaking, they're much, much tighter than Detroit is. And even their goaltending, like they've been getting good goaltending while Carter Hart has been out last night, notwithstanding. And I like Philly here. So give that as my best bet. Does someone have that? Yeah, you know what's up.
You want to take a guess? Anyone?
What was Philadelphia? Philadelphia was like plus
They're
110.
plus 110. Yeah.
I'm thinking the parlay must be pretty low today, like 600.
But the assist is probably plus money.
That's plus 120.
The assist is plus 120. Jets -108. Flyers plus 110.
Yeah, it's got to be lower than our usual, at least. I would think. We're not going too crazy here.
So 600 for John.
That's my guess.
Mark, what's your guess?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll say like 525.
Wow,
you guys went real low. It's plus 789.
I'm pleasantly surprised. Because I didn't think we were going that crazy with the odds today.
See,
nothing crazy, but all are off. All are just slightly above that -110. Slightly juices up.
True.
I usually roll with the decimal system. It's way easier on my brain. Like 2 point, like it's way less thinking involved. So, all right. So what was that again? Plus
789.
Love it.
Yeah, we have the American odds here.
Got to stop the stocking, man.
Yeah, and our boy Vin tweeted at me last night, saying that Christmas is canceled if last night's parlay loses, and it lost. So we got to redeem Christmas. Got to redeem Christmas for Vinny.
Yeah.
So I just picked Philly, and it's a very nice Giants hat you have on there, Andre. I know both you guys are New York Giants fans, and you know what? We're not going to be here till Wednesday. Right? We're taking 4 days off. We're taking a break. But while we're gone, our teams are playing. So
look at the reveal.
Just a little bonus. Just came to me. So creative. A little bonus edition of previews.
Ooh.
Wow, those odds. Look at those odds. The New York Giants are in Philadelphia, plus 575 underdogs on the road. Philly minus 850. I had it. It just disappeared in front of me. Where are we here? All right. Minus 13.5 is minus 108. Plus 13.5 is minus 112. The over is 43 at minus 112. The under is 43 at minus 108. John, what do you... Okay. I have a real question for you guys, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm actually being sincere. As a general football fan, I actually do want to know, like, what were your guys' hopes for this season versus how this season has, like, evolved? Because that was a very common argument. I think the Giants over under was 8. Was what, 7.5? Was there over?
Yeah, it was about that.
And like that was, I heard that everywhere, like over 7.5 or not over 7.5. And that was like a pretty frequent argument. What was your guys feeling like before the season? Because I don't know how Giants fans really feel right now.
John, you want to go first?
Sure. Nationally, I felt like people were down on the Giants even in the preseason. Every national sports personality I saw pick the Giants to regress in the preseason. And I kind of wish I listened to them betting wise, because I was not like that at all. I didn't think they were going to be better than last season. I think maybe I was a little more optimistic, but in the preseason, I expected the Giants to absolutely make it back to the playoffs, mainly because I felt like Dable last year had such an incredible coaching job basically getting every ounce of talent from the Giants with, quite frankly, an average roster. So I thought, like, with the offseason moves the Giants made and getting a little healthier too, that they would do more this year. It just turned out to be the opposite. And I think last year ended up being like a year where Dable kind of put tape when the boat was sinking. And I think this year just got exposed. But I could say in the preseason, my expectations were pretty high. I don't necessarily think we were going to go farther than last year, but I thought we would at least make it back to the playoffs at minimum.
What about you, Andre?
Honest to God, I thought maybe a fringe playoff team, but I was looking at a team that was around like 8 wins, 9 wins. I just wanted to see a competitive football team more than anything. I still viewed it as a rebuild. So I just want to see certain pieces take strides. I want to see development. And I can't say I was disappointed with the start of the season with the injuries, the O-line, just the way we lost. I think the Jets game and the Bills game in particular were disappointing to me.
Damn Jets.
But I can't say I'm like disappointed with the season overall. I think Bobby Okereke was a good signing. Kayvon Thibodeau's grown. Dexter Lawrence, best D tackle in the league. You know, there's Jalen Hyatt has speed like crazy. Wan'Dale Robinson's a piece. Like, I like some of the growth. Andrew Thomas is still that guy, but there's still a lot of work. So if I had to grade the season, I'd give it like a C.
Andre's a lot more generous than I am. I'd give it a solid F.
I viewed this as year 2 of a rebuild. So
yeah.
I think my thing is the NFC is just so open. I felt like the Giants should have been in it.
That's fair.
That's fair. I also think that they like their run last year was fun, and the fact that they played the Vikings in the playoffs, I think, was perfect for them.
Yeah,
the Vikings were the perfect team for them to play in the playoffs. But I also felt like it was a little bit like overachieving. And I thought that the Daniel Jones, like I don't necessarily feel negative about Daniel Jones, but to give him the contract that you did, I thought was pretty generous. Like I wasn't too sure about that. But when it comes to this game, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm not picking Philly minus 850. That's just insane. Unless I do like a 25 leg parlay for the weekend that I, cook up in my in my lab, as they say. um, um, and the Giants plus 575. Like, I know the Eagles have been like scuffling a little bit here. I'm a little bit grass is greener. The fact that I'm not actually in Philadelphia, I think I'm a little bit away from the negativity. I can see a little bit more like wide-eyed. I do think they win this game. I don't like taking the spread either. I think that they should win comfortably, but the way that defense, I mean, like, you guys got Barkley, like you guys can still score points, and I don't really trust the spread. What I do trust, and like, trust me, so a little behind the scenes for the people watching. My son's name is Boston, all right? And Boston Scott, the day my son was born, I bet on Boston Scott to score a touchdown, and he did. And it was a beautiful day. He does not score touchdowns very often, but we all know this. I can't remember the actual number now. I'm pretty sure it's double digits, but he scored like 2/3 of his touchdowns against the Giants. And this is how real this is, okay? I've sprinkled a little bit on Boston Scott to score a touchdown throughout the year, you know, a little feel-good moment. My son's getting bigger. I'm trying to go back to the olden days when he was just a little baby. And for him to score a touchdown on Monday is plus 350, and I promise you it is not plus 350 the rest of the year.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, I think I got it at like 21-1 a couple weeks ago. Like, trust me, it is not plus 350. For him to be the first TD scorer, I can see Sirianni like cooking up a first drive for him to be the first TD scorer, plus 1,600. And I like that. But that's my favorite bet of this game. We can go deep dive. I'm not going to, but that's my favorite bet of this game. I don't know. John, what do you see here, bro?
I was a little surprised at what the line was for this game because I think it's about 13 points, something like that. I don't know if it moved up a half point or not. 13.5. Yeah, I thought it was a little high, but with that said, I don't have a strong feeling on the Giants anymore. I still think they have offensive issues to work out. The Saints kind of exposed that a little bit last week, in my opinion. In all honesty, rather than the spread, I kind of like the under. I like that a lot better. Giants have been very good in under games this year. They're like 10 out of 14 games that they've played have gone under. I feel like the Eagles are starting to trend in that direction as well. I don't know their exact record in recent weeks, but I don't think the Giants are pulling off an upset here, to be perfectly honest. The Eagles need to win a game. I think they've lost, 3 in a row now? So
Yeah.
the Eagles should win this. I think the spread's very tight. I think it's about right. Like, I see the spread coming down the wire. It seems very close. But I think the Eagles are pretty close with the spread in a low-scoring game. Let's just call it 28-14 for the sake of argument. I think this game goes under, though. I like that better than the spread personally.
What I hate about it being 13.5 is I want to tease the Eagles so bad, but to tease the Eagles on 13.5 is just like they're going to win by like 6. It's just going to be what happens. I can just feel it in the air. Andre, what do you got, man?
2 things before I really say what I have to say for this game. Is 1, Boston Scott has 17 career touchdowns and 10 are against Big Blue.
Okay.
I can't stand that, man. 2, this was plus 600 this morning. I was browsing because my Christmas Day miracle bet's going to be Knicks money line, Giants money line. They're both underdogs for their game. And so I'm a little disappointed that this went down. That being said, 13.5 is way too much. The Eagles' defense is not good. They give up, 5.2 yards per play, or 5.4 yards per play, just 22nd. They're mediocre against the run. Saquon Barkley's there. He can stress that. They're mediocre against the pass. I know we don't have the craziest receivers, but Jalen Hyatt has speed. James Bradbury's a little older. He can get torched in a one-on-one. Wan'Dale Robinson's quick underneath. Saquon Barkley can be used as a receiver and probably will be. I see this game plan being similar to the one it was against the Packers for the Giants. And I really like that game plan. It's a lot of what they did last year when they had moderate offensive success. So I think the Giants can keep this one close. There's also the turnover battle. The Giants are actually surprisingly very good with turnovers. They're one of the better teams at protecting the ball. They're one of the better teams at taking the ball away. They're +6 for the season. The Eagles are -6. They have a lot of ball security issues. I think people have picked on Jalen Hurts this year for that. They don't get many takeaways. I know Dexter Lawrence might not play, and the Eagles' offense probably will run all over the Giants. But I'm really not buying +13.5 with the way this Eagles team has been playing. And I think I'm leaning more towards the over.
True. I'm going to be betting on this game in some capacity for sure. I just don't know right now. Like, I'll get suckered. Let's just call it what it is, man. It's Christmas Day. I don't like I personally do not drink, so it won't be like a intoxicated bet, but I know I'm gonna have like 4 plates of turkey and just say screw it, like just a comatose, like screw it. Eagles adjusted line -18.5. Screw it, let's go. Or because I believe the game's at 4:30, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lose my like 12:30 basketball pick, and then I'll have to be chasing, and we'll see what happens. But
so you're betting on the Knicks too? That's what I just heard.
Well, bro, I was gonna pick the Knicks against, who was it? The Clippers, and you told me not to, and then they won.
Oh, they beat the Suns when I said not to. Then they lost the Clippers.
That's what it was.
The next night.
Yeah, and then I bet on them to beat the Clippers, and they lost that game. So that's what happens. But anyway, thank you everybody for indulging us on our little Christmas Philly Giants game. Andre, we've been facing each other a lot when it comes to our favorite teams, man.
Yeah, how are we still friends?
I know. I was gonna say it's building a bit of a rivalry. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for joining us as always. This whole episode, all of these things, especially the Boston Scott TD, was brought to you by First Round Collectibles until January the 4th. They have a sale, and I'm not joking around. Thousands of cards on sale, up to 50% off. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com and enter the code SPORTSADDICT for an additional 10% off. Whether there's a sale or there's no sale, doesn't matter. You get 10% off with the code SPORTSADDICT. All right. Everybody, Merry Christmas, man. It's been a fun, I don't know, few months, and we got a lot to look forward to. I can't do it without look like I'm like giving someone the finger. I don't know how to do it, but Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for watching.